done this. This will be my third time trying to record part 2. And I don't even know how this is going to go because I'm in the car. And this time I turned my Wi-Fi off. So if this recording sucks and drops off, it's AT&T's fault 100% completely. It means their network sucks. It can't handle the ride. But it's like no matter what I do. Come on, pigeon, get out of the way. I'm not trying to run you over. Oh, finally. Gee whiz. No matter what I do, I can't speak. It's so frustrating. I made that first part and I'm driving like I am now, same exact spot, same exact drive, so we'll see. But I was, talking all the way I got to work. It took me like 30 minutes. And then I go back to kind of review the video and it cut off after 13 minutes. So there was like 17 minutes of me yippity yappering and none of it got recorded. So then I hopped on and I was like, I'm going to come back later and finish the video. And I couldn't because I didn't get home until like 10:30 last night because sports, and the kids wanted to go to the gym after sports, and so it just ended up being a late night. By the time I got home, I was like, I don't know if I could do this, so I didn't, and I just went to bed. 10 o'clock and past 10 o'clock is like beyond my bedtime at this point. So except for if it's a Saturday night and it's Linda James' show, and then I'm on. But so the video abruptly ended, and I was starting to talk about therapy. And so it's kind of confusing now because I've said this so many times. I'm like, I don't know. It's not confusing. It just like, I wonder if they heard that part. No, they didn't hear that part. They heard that part? No, they didn't hear that part. But so the reason that I was coming back to YouTube was because I was thinking that maybe I'm not the only one who feels this way about the healing process in coming out of a cult. And I think what I expected and what I expected from going to YouTube and talking about the organization was to help somebody else understand that they're not the only ones who are going through the things that you're going through in this organization and coming out of the organization. So I talked a little bit about all of that. And the other part was to kind of help heal, to kind of like, if you get it out of you, it's not stuck inside of you anymore, then you can heal. And I really have found that it's not as much that way. For me anyways, it hasn't been like that. And so, when we think about healing, and I think a lot of people do their XJW videos and they're hoping to help somebody, obviously, but they're also hoping for their own healing because it doesn't feel good when you're coming out. When you're on the inside, there is so much going on. You're so involved in so many things and you have this humongous family, and when you come out, all of that is gone. And so there's like a separation, kind of like a piece of you that's missing almost. And I hate saying that at this point because I hate thinking of that organization being a piece of me. But in reality, that's what it is. It's a huge piece of you too, because really your whole life revolves around this organization and everything in it and everybody in it. So what I was starting to talk about was just kind of some of the realizations that I came to in my very first session with this therapist. And it's kind of cool. Therapy's kind of cool, and it's different than what I had anticipated or thought it would be, because it's me being able to talk about my things, and I don't really feel like I'm being judged. I feel like I'm being heard. And I guess that would really depend on, your therapist and who you get in that area, how that feels. But I really expected it to feel a lot different. I really expected it to feel like a very judgy ordeal, and I wonder why I felt that way. But when you get a cut, and maybe it's a really bad cut, and you get stitches, and it takes time for that to heal. And pretty soon you get your stitches out, and you heal to the point where you can get your stitches out, and then you heal to the point where you can't even notice that there was anything that happened there. And I think that's what I expected from healing. I expected that it was going to be gone. I was going to talk about it. I was going to get it outside of myself. It was going to be gone, and I wasn't going to have to feel all of those feelings that I felt before. And that's not so much the way it's been for me. I feel like definitely was helpful to talk about it, and I think it is very helpful to get it out, better out than in, right? But my expectation of the healing process was something different. And so when I didn't feel that complete healing, like it wasn't there anymore, it was like, wow, like this sucks, like this is never going to go away. So when I started talking to my therapist, I had said something, and it was about programming. And after I said it, because I was trying to describe indoctrination, and the way I was seeing indoctrination from the organization to the therapist. And after I left, and I was kind of thinking about it, and I've still been thinking about it, and it's been 2 weeks since that session. But the healing of the expectation of healing has to be different, at least for me, than what I thought it was, or else I'm never going to come out of this cult without being completely scathed, right? I have to change. I have to reframe how I'm thinking healing, what healing should be, because we were programmed, we were indoctrinated. And so, and depending on when you came into the organization, like for me, I was pretty much born in. I was very, very young. My parents started studying when I was like 7 months old. So, as young as you could be, starting with your indoctrination, it is part of my core fundamental foundation. And that you can't just talk that away. You can't just, I don't think there's any amount of words that you can say that changes the fundamentals of who you are. I think there's a lot more that goes into changing that than just getting it out. And if anybody is able to just talk and get it out, I think that's amazing. That's wonderful. I don't happen to be that person, so my journey now looks a little different than it did when I first came to YouTube. My intentions are still the same. My intentions would still be to help somebody else, even if it's just one person, to help somebody else, but maybe to help somebody through the new things that I'm learning in therapy. And it's really hard to say, like, I've been depressed or I'm going to therapy, because what you're taught in this organization is that the moment you leave, your life is going to fall apart and you're going to be depressed, and nothing is going to go right for you. So to actually say these things out loud is me trying to overcome, really, without laughing, trying to overcome some of those core fundamental things that have been put inside me, those fundamental teachings that we're not going to be okay without the organization. And don't get me wrong, I realize, I know that I am much better off without this organization. I would never go back. That would be the death of me. I would never go back, and I would only ever, I think, just try and stay the course of trying to unwind the programming. So hopefully this video made it through to at least get that out, because I've said that like 3 times now, and for some reason or another I haven't been able to get the message out. But I do see that there is a little bit of it's people in my feed and I can't really read it because even though I wear contacts, I can't see that small. So I hope that you'll join me on this journey. I don't know what the journey looks like at all. I don't have any, I'm trying not to have expectations, because I think that that's where letdown is at the end of expectation. So I'm trying to just allow this to unfold and to teach me something. Sorry, I'm driving and, kind of halfway paying attention here. That I'm learning something through this, and I guess when I stop learning something new, or when I, then I'll stop. But that's it. That's the all of what I needed to get out. That for some reason the videos aren't posting. But what I was gonna say is that my therapy sessions are on Fridays. So I'm hoping that I can come back like on Friday, while it's still fresh, and share with you parts of the session, because it's not all about Jehovah's Witness